All right, everybody, welcome back to the Xavier Klein Coaching Journey here on Madden 25. As you can see, I'm still in the off season here for 2024. There was a corruption on the recording for some reason, and it shot me back, or like online. The save didn't save, so week 2 didn't happen. So we're just gonna start over. It's not the end of the world. Good restarted here. There was also a recent retirement of Derek Carr, so it was nice to be able to kind of throw that into the game to make sure we're good in that space. So I do have the retirements there. I re-signed a couple guys here, Huntley and Kadir Kahu, but we'll talk through our signings in a second. But as you can see, there were some retirements that happened. Some are actually bigger than others. Harrison Smith, Gilmore. I saw Cordero Patterson, Hayward. Jason Peters did. Ramczyk is one. Taysom Hill retired in this series already. I saw another one that really surprised me. Thielen is gone. Dalton's gone. Tyrod Taylor. I saw Graham Gano. Trent Williams for the Niners. Juszczyk. Kirk Cousins says, I'm done. I ain't going to be a backup. Brandon Graham did retire. You got Raheem Mostert there. Calais Campbell for us, and Teron Armstead. That was the one. Joe Flacco in this series is gone. So as you can see, quite a bit of a Von Miller, quite a bit of players. Keenan Allen, big players have retired. So maybe we'll see a different offseason here. The Dolphins are a team I'm going to work through. As much as I wanted to maybe select a goal of like, okay, let's be a playoff team, I'm going to probably say 4 wins minimum, because I'd like to see if I can build this team up for at least a couple years before I go, okay, unleash it. We gotta make it for, the playoffs or Super Bowl or something like that. So I want to stick with this team a little bit just to get a groove of it. But we'll try to speed up the games. Watch what we can, and then maybe get through like 5 or 6 games at a time to see how we're gonna play this out. You got players on this team where I'm like, man, how do you make it work? How do you build this up? But with Tua, if he doesn't have a very strong right tackle, or just strong O-line in general, this is a very rough situation for this QB. So is he the franchise QB? Is he the guy? I mean, when you look at the motivation tags, they say he is. So what that tells me is like, okay, this organization wants to rock with Tua Tagovailoa for the next years to come. And that's fine with me. So we got to work with what the organization's willing to give us at this point. So we're going to try to build this up, get 2 of the weapons, but mainly try to build the wall. I need to get him a good wall in that space. I think the defense, the D-line just needs a lot of help, right? We got Zach Sealer. If I can re-sign Ogba, if he needs to get re-signed, then I'll move him down. Maybe that'll kind of help this out. Jalen Ramsey and Kendall Fuller, they're fine, but Ramsey wants to leave, and Kadir Kahu is a slot. So I don't know how this corner situation's rough. We need a strong safety. So do you extend Poyer? I don't know. Holland's gone because he's on the Giants, so I didn't sign him. You got players like Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb that are injured. So it's just like this whole team is just really busted up. So we're going to have to figure all that along the way. As far as the scheme and everything, I decided to run a West Coast like they currently have, but it's going to be with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playbook. And then we're going to run a 3-4 storm with Jim Harbaugh's Baltimore Ravens playbook. So that's the goal there. We're going to try to build this out here. As far as how I decide to sign players, I think I want to try to find a little bit of a twist to it, right? So I'd say I got to get super aggressive in the first 2 stages of the free agency. And I can grab whatever I want. When it comes to the last stage, I have to find people that fit my scheme. I think that's going to be kind of a cool twist to it to kind of make it work in our space there. So the hope is that, we find free agents that truly fit what we need to do. So if I can find guys in the first 2 stages that fit my scheme and are really good, awesome. But if I can't, we got to try to get them sooner than ideal. Otherwise, stage 3 is useless. But there's a lot of players that we have to go through. We got 28 free agents here, man, and it is rough. And when I look at the amount of money we got, you got to go, okay, who are we willing to spend our money on? Wide receivers is not it for me. I'm not going to spend money on Rick Stenton, Braxton Berrios, Anthony Schwartz. I am considering what would happen if we brought back Isaiah Wynn. And he's asking for a 2-year deal at 29 years old, and I don't think that's bad. So I'm wondering if we can go maybe a player-friendly deal, bring him back. Maybe give him this amount. So that's about $6.3 million. I think that's a fair deal for a guard. And they take it there. So we got 21 million left. So it's good we got the guard situation figured out. I gotta get the other guard situation figured out. Anthony Walker, he's 30 years old. Is he worth being on this team? You got Brooks and you get Walker right next to him. And can you find another younger linebacker next to him? I don't know. So we got to think about that one. Eskridge, Braden Daniels for another year. It would be nice. I don't know if he's going to accept that. I mean, I guess we can just kind of walk away from that one. Sean Hand, Izukanma, Eichenberg. I don't want any of these guys, and they don't want to play for me. Like Cam Brown, special teams guy, I can wait on that. There isn't a whole lot of players here that I'm super pumped about. So knowing that we got $21 million, I think what I'd like to do here is spend it on the players that I would like to have at this time. So I'm going to try to say, okay, what would happen if we got Terrell Dodson? Could we bring him in? If we bring him for a 4-year deal, that's $4.7 million. That's not bad at all. Would he take it? Would he want it? And he does. So we got the middle linebacker there alongside Brooks, so I don't have to worry about that space. As far as Jordan Poyer, could we bring him in? I mean, if he could take a team-friendly deal, let's see if he wants that. So he doesn't. So yeah, and I'd rather not have a guy like that. He's a good veteran, but there's no reason to hang on to him there. Is there anybody else? Maybe Walker. A 3-year deal, 4.7. I mean, he's 30 years old. I mean, we picked up Dotson. I don't think we need Walker. So we're going to let him walk there. So as you can see, not a whole lot of players signed. We're going to have a lot of space here. This is kind of crazy in this area. Pretty tough, but we get to the first stage. Let's see what happens here. Dolphins are a very interesting team. I said it already. I think this is probably going to be one of those teams that are going to seek to be rebuilt in the next Madden for sure. I think it'll be a really cool series there. I think the Saints are kind of an interesting one, but they got a starting quarterback, so we'll see. But look at this, folks. In this series, you got some big dogs that are out there. Trey Smith, Chris Godwin, Tyron Smith, who actually didn't retire, surprisingly, although he retired in real life. Trent Brown, DJ Reed, Khalil Mack, Havenstein, Devontae David, Bobby Wagner, Paulson Adebo. So pretty cool players here. You got Amari Cooper. Let's just go. What's QBs out there? Darnold, Wilson, Fields, right? These are all guys that people would love to have on their team. Mac Jones, Jameis Winston, but I think we brought back Huntley, so I don't really need a backup. I think we're going to roll with what we got there. Halfbacks, I don't know if we really need to do much there. You got Jalen Wright, who was drafted previously, and you got Devon Achane. So if you bring anybody else, it's not going to be somebody that's going to really break, blow the doors off. So we'll continue to look at that. Kamara being available is kind of nuts. That would be kind of a neat move there. But HN does what he needs to do there. Jordan Mason is available. So I don't see anything too crazy in that space. Wide receivers, Godwin being a potential, that'd be kind of cool there. But you got Hill and you got Waddle. Do you need anything more there, or do you just draft a receiver? Rashid Shaheed, Hopkins, you got Lockett. I think Mike Williams could be a decent, different type of quarterback, of receiver there. So we got two speedsters. So having a big receiver on the outside could be a pretty interesting move there. You got Lazard talking about bigger receivers. Even Westbrook Akina is kind of a sneaky pick right there. 6'2", 211, decent speed on him. I mean, that's not a bad backup there. When you look at the tight ends, the tight end group, we got Jonnu Smith, so I don't really think we need much more than that. I don't want to add any more cap to that. It's going to be the O-line. And this is where we have to probably invest our dollars, right? We got 16 million in cap space. You got players like Jedrick Wills out there and DJ Humphries. Do you bring in a player like Humphries and just say, hey, we need a vet that we could trust? Or do you bring a youngster here that in Jedrick Wills and give him an opportunity? Maybe you shift Jedrick Wills over to right tackle where he truly felt more comfortable. I don't think Jedrick Wills was a legit left tackle. I think it was more of a right. So maybe we grab him, move him to right tackle, and then you try to find another player there to help us out. I mean, you move Jedrick over to the right. We do have Paul, and Paul is a left tackle. So maybe you go, okay, we're going to lean on those youngsters, and it's going to be a little bit of money there, but that could work out for us. We got Isaiah Wynn, so no issues in that space. So maybe we just bring a reliable backup, someone with good awareness to kind of help us out in that space. The center situation also should be looked at. You get a good veteran in that space, or you draft one. I think that's going to be 100% needed there. And when we need a right tackle, now you could blow your wad and just say, I'm going in on Trey Smith, so we're going to restructure contracts to get them in there. Or you could try to grab someone like James Daniels and kind of rock with him on that end, which wouldn't be bad. Like if you have someone like James Daniels on one end, Isaiah Wynn on the other, those guards aren't bad and they can kind of help protect the center. So maybe that's something we emphasize as we draft a center to kind of work out. Right tackles, none of them are really that great, so I'm not gonna. Or I think that Jedrick Wills is probably the move there. Maybe Lucas Niang in the back end, but I think with the cap space that we have, we're very limited on what we can do. And I think you try to patch up the pieces where you like the places you can, like a safety, and just hope they can kind of be manageable there. So we grab a couple safeties in the free agency if need be, or in the draft. But there's places where you can't really hide stuff, and defensive line is one of them. So you could grab a pretty decent, tackle or end like Peyton Turner or Gallimore or something like that. Roll with them. Find some pieces in the interior that can probably hold it down, like a Daquan Jones or Maurice Hurst, something that they're going to be really good at, just space eaters. And I think that could be an option there. Leki Fotu could be a guy in this space. I think we grabbed him last time, so that wouldn't be bad. Zach Sealer is one of those guys where, man, is it time to trade him and move on? I don't know if there's too many pieces we can do that for. So there are some players that would love to play for the Dolphins, so that's kind of cool. Maybe it's the scheme. So knowing that, maybe we could take some chances on some of these guys and see if they can fit with what we need to do. The corner situation isn't as bad, but you got to figure how is this all going to work. So you want to continue to keep drafting good DBs along the way. There's some pretty some good free safeties. Derek Force would like to play for the Dolphins, so that's kind of an easy move right there to a certain extent. Strong safety, Cameron Bynum. I mean, that's a really good free safety right there. He'd like to play for the Dolphins, so you get a pretty solid safety like that. You're going to be able to rock with him for a while, which also means we're going to need to probably bring in, restructure some contracts. So not bad right there. I think that's all pretty good. What we're going to do on our end is start setting up the free agents and see if we can get that going. And then we'll talk about the free agents we pick up right after this. So we made quite a bit of moves here in this free agency to get us back up to about 57 players. That was a lot of signings. We are left with very little cap, but I have a strategy of what I'm going to do to kind of continue to fill in spots, but also allow us to leverage the pieces that we made. So I'm pretty happy with the things that we did there. I thought there was some really good stuff. So let's check out some of the signings. We retooled the DB group. We picked up Elijah Molden. The reason why we were able to get this guy for such a cheap deal, he's currently got a broken fibula, so he's out for 6 weeks. It doesn't matter for us though. He's not going to have to worry about playing until this regular season. until the preseason. So we are able to get this guy for a 3-year deal for $6.6 million. Such a cheap deal for a safety who, to me, could really work hand in hand with some of the guys we picked up in that group. Picked up Jerron Reed. He's 31 years old. 1-year deal, $5.5 million. I want to bring some veterans there. You got Sealer on one end, you get Jerron Reed on the other. That's not bad. You know, that's close to 600 pounds right there just between those two. And with some of the additions that we brought in, we got almost like 1,000-pound group right there up front to help us out. Jedrick Wills moved him over to right tackle, like I said. There is a player on this team, I think his name's like Austin Jackson, Alaric Jackson, A.T. Jackson, or something like that. And, you know, I'll show what we're going to do with him. But I wanted to move Jedrick back over to right tackle where I feel he could be very strong at. Richie Grant is the other safety that I was really happy to bring up. The guy isn't the craziest. You know, his OVR speaks to that. But his ability to change direction, I think, is pretty solid. And I think he could play exactly where we need him to. He's a hard hitter. He can tackle. But that's the big thing for me. It's the hit power aspect of it. When you look at some of the other guys we got, we picked up Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Every time this guy's on a particular team, that QB becomes a superstar and they make it to the Super Bowl. 30 years old, 93 speed, 93 acceleration. He's got the height that makes him a little bit of a different type of receiver than Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. So I'm like, okay, just something a little different there back in that space. Picked up Tristan Colon. He's similar to Eichenberg, but a little bit better. He's 27 years old, 76 awareness. He's a scheme fit. So if something were to happen to, you know, that interior line, we can move him around in there and get it going. Picked up a good player here who I believe is still very good at safety, Marquise Blair. He's only 27 years old. Youth there. We only signed him for $4.4 million for 2 years. That's a steal. We picked up Leki Fotu. I'm a big fan of this guy. 6'5", 334. So we picked up him, right? He's 6'5", 334. We picked up Jerron Reed, 6'3", 306. And then we have Zach Saylor, who I think is close to 300. So I think we're close to 1,000 pounds just on those three players, which I think can really help us out quite a bit. Brought in Dwayne Brown to be a good backup left tackle, just in case something happens to Patrick Paul. Robert Rochelle, I think, could be a really good corner. He could play on the interior slot if need be, or he could play on the outside if something happens to Kendall Fuller. I need something there because Kadir Cahoe cannot play on the outside. I need him to play in the slot all day long. Lorenzo Carter, former Giant / Falcon. I like Carter. I think he can be a good special teams guy and play right now and help in the rotation if something were to happen to Jalen Phillips when he returns. Bradley Chubb when he's ready to roll. We got Chop Robinson. I think that's a pretty good rotation there. Also picked up Kene Nwangwu. He's a former Viking. Picked him up mainly to kind of fit with the skill set that we have in Devon Achane and Jalen Wright. But what I like about him, he can return kicks and punts. So we got a guy that could leverage that if something were to happen to Isaiah McKenzie. And then I picked up Stone Smart. I'm actually a big fan of Stone Smart. This guy's a former QB at Old Dominion, and he's a very smart tight end. His athleticism's there. So I think he could probably start over Smythe if need be. So I think that'll help out Tua Tagovailoa quite a bit there. I think those are some good moves for us. And I'm looking forward to getting to the draft. So we'll talk about our draft board just a little bit before we head into that. So as far as the board is concerned, we brought in a couple different players from different positions that I feel like we always need help on. Although we have Patrick Paul, you know, we got Dwayne Brown, we picked up Jedrick Wills. You always want to see if you can find talent somewhere, and I see something in Blake Sherwood, 6'6", 320, 22 years old out of North Carolina State. The guy is a freak athlete, in my opinion. He checks off all the boxes, and to me, could be a player that we can put him into that position if need be there. I would not be upset with snagging a player like Sherwood. When I look at some of the other pieces there's a couple different first rounders that I'm like, okay, I think we got something there. But one in particular that I am interested in is, I believe, Calvin Beckham, 6'3", it's 6'3", 255. His combine actually isn't as incredible, but it's his agility that's really intriguing to me. So with that change of direction, maybe this guy's got the reach to kind of get around players in a very interesting way. You look at another player here, wide receiver, Greg Allman. His release is legit. He's 6'4", 217 pounds out of Ohio State. When I see something like that, that kind of size, good agility on him potentially, this is a player that could really help us out, right? We got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, but you know, are you going to try to have him for the rest of the series? Probably not, right? You're going to probably try to move on from him when need be there. We looked at some free safeties. You got some corners, but I like the big dogs right here. There was a guy, I think this is the dude right here. Yep. Ty Cooks, 314 pounds, 6'2", out of Georgia. B block shed, but this was crazy. 43 reps, bro, and he ran a 5 in his college pro day. Within the fours, 4'9", 4'9'7". So, this guy's projected to be in the first, second round. I don't know if we're going to be able to get him there, but that's a player that I would like to have if he falls to us. Now, granted, there's other players out there, and there's some UDFAs that are kind of interesting. There's this guy here in DeAndrew Irving that looked kind of intriguing, 6'8", 321, 22 years old, out of Auburn. B awareness, B run block. That's not bad to start there. He had some pretty good reps on him. 5'2", 5'16", 40 is pretty okay. He's got good strength to him. So it's somebody like you can kind of put on the back end there and just kind of let him grow and develop, maybe on the practice squad or something like that. I saw another cat right here in Clarence Rambo, 6'1", 246 linebacker. A tackle, so that's like somebody you could leverage for special teams right off the get. To me, I think this guy could work out for us. He's pretty strong. 4'6'9" isn't that crazy, but with this weight, the size and speed of him, I think that's really different for us. So I'm always trying to find some pieces that aren't necessarily going to be the end-all be-all for us, but they could be leveraged for something else. And this is another right tackle I was looking at, Jeremy Barnett, 6'7", 340, also Auburn. So that could be kind of cool. We pick up 2 Auburn tackles in the last rounds or something like that. So I see something like that. I think that could be pretty interesting there. Now, we don't have too many picks, and that's something that I've realized here. And with where we stand, we have to leverage those picks here. And I think, with the first, second, we don't have a third. We have 2 5s, 2 7s. This is where we have to think about, what if we took our mid-round pick in the first round, tried to move back into the second, which means maybe we would get a future first, a current second, and maybe we can get like a third and fourth or something like that to really build this group up. And then in the second round, we can leverage this second round pick that we have and maybe move back into the third. So we can kind of collect some pieces, build up for the next year's draft as well, and set up the Dolphins to succeed. Now, this is also a pretty rough team here, and I think I'm also considering, what if we were to market this team and change, maybe not just locations, but what if we were to change, the logo of this thing and really build this team up for something else that could represent either Florida. Although we got multiple teams there, maybe we move to another state and kind of create our own culture there. So we stay maybe in the South or the southern states, but we build something a little different here. So I'm kind of thinking about that to kind of mix it up a little bit here in this universe. So we're going to head into the draft here. My goal is to only focus on my pick. So you'll see a little bit of it, but my goal is to just emphasize my picks to kind of keep this thing going. So it won't be that long of an episode. So we'll check out the first picks of the draft. Let's see what happens here. I didn't really look at the mocks, nor do I care, because you're a new team and you're just trying to figure it out. Preston Kennedy, quarterback, goes to the Titans. The Browns are up. They're going to take quarterback Lawrence House. So they snag a QB. And another QB, Brandon Monroe, heading to New York. So back-to-back quarterbacks in this year's draft. Pretty interesting there. Patriots are up. They don't need a QB. They take a guard. Protect freaking Drake. You got the Jaguars coming up. They go right end, Eli Fletcher. You got Josiah Barnett, right outside linebacker. That's not a bad move for them. You're talking about the Jets taking Reggie Cousins. Phil Holt to the Panthers. You got Colin Anthony, another QB, taken. And the Saints grab one there. Bears are up. They're going to take Mike Hayes. The Niners are up. They're going to take Samuel Halen. And the Cowboys are up here. They're going to take Mary Holiday. So we're up. And this is where I'm going to kind of work through it in this space. I definitely want to think about who is willing to trade with us. You know, the Browns are saying, hey, man, we'll give you future picks. The Vikings said, hey, you move back, we'll give you a future freaking first. We'll give you a first, the 24th pick this year, a future second, a future third, a fifth, and a this year, and a future sixth. The Titans says, hey, man, we'll give you our first next year. Seahawks say, move back a couple spaces. We'll give you a seventh this year, a future seventh, and a future fourth. The Jets are saying, hey, man, we want to play a little bit more. No thanks. The Niners trying to give us basically their entire draft next year. First, second, and third for the Niners, which would be pretty incredible for the Dolphins, right? If we did that, we wouldn't have a first round pick, but we would pretty much be set for next year. We would have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and a seventh. So next year's draft would probably be the biggest one for these Dolphins. The Falcons are saying, hey, man, we'll give you a future first, a future first, a fourth this year, and a seventh. That one's intriguing. The Colts are saying, hey, we'll give you a future first, future first, a future first, a current 5, a 6, and a 7. So none of these are really intriguing to me. The only one I'd be willing to move on from is maybe somebody like the Vikings. So I'm wondering if I can kind of take away one of the 26 picks there, maybe one, remove the future 27, keep the 5th, and maybe see if we can get a second this year or a third this. I think what we can do is probably we'll get the first this year. I'm going to see if we can get the first this year and their second this year, along with the 5th. We're going to try that out, see if that works out for us. I think that's more than fair to make that decision there. But let's see where we're at. Let's see. Trade. There you go. So that is with the Vikings. So we're going to give them our 13th overall pick. They're going to move up. They actually don't have any picks this year. Oh, that's why they're doing it. They got 3 freaking picks this year. That's hilarious. So they want action, but they got no action, bro. So it's like, I'd probably have to take your 5th and like your first next year just to make this kind of work for me. Do I even want to do that? Probably not. That is not the team I'd like to play with. I thought the Vikings were the perfect choice there, but that was not it. My gosh, that was really bad. They were the only ones that actually have, well, the Seahawks. The Seahawks aren't asking for much, and they're asking to move back 4 spots, move up 4 spots. Let's look at that one. So we might not be able to get a big haul moving back 5 spots, but it's still something to where I'm like, okay, it's with the NFC, it's not with the AFC. So that's fine to a certain extent there. But man, so we take the, I'd say, ooh, so I'd say maybe we can try to see if we can snag up a third to move up that spot, and then maybe, let's see if we can go, maybe if we take their third. Okay, I have an idea. So because we take their third, maybe we swap seconds. So we move back 5 spots in 2 places, but we get their 3rd round pick. And then maybe like a future 4th or something like that. So we move back 5 spots on both the 1st and 2nd round, but we pick up their 3rd round this year, which we don't have one, and we take a future 4th. Let's see if they're willing to give us that. Ooh, they're almost there. So now the 4th isn't it, so I think it's going to be a 5th that'll get there. So the 2026 5, that will do it. So we move back 5 spots in the 1st and 2nd round, but we get their 3rd round pick. So a little finessing right there. Not too bad on that one. Let's see who they take real quick before we head to our pick. They take quarterback Mark O'Neal. They're like, dude, we need a QB. So they moved up to get one. So we're up here. Do we want to trade back again, right? Do we want to continue to do it like the Patriots do? The Bills say, hey, you move all the way back. We'll give you our 1st and 2nd and a 6th this year and a 6th next year. That might work out for us because then we can collect 3 2nd round picks. We'll have 2 2nd round picks there. One right near each other, 2 both near each other there. That's not bad. The Texans will give us a 3rd. I don't think that's great. The Vikings are trying to give us future picks. The Seahawks want to trade with us again. They would give us 2 firsts. So the Seahawks all in this year. That's kind of nuts. Look at the Commanders, bro. They'll give us their 1st, 2nd, future 4th, future 6th, future 7th to move back 11 spots there. So the Commanders trying to fight pretty hard for a spot right there. The Packers try to give us we move back 5 spots. We get an additional 4th round and a 7th round. I think that's probably the most intriguing one. I mean, you trade with the Eagles. Do you really want to do that? We'll get an additional 2nd round pick. So we'll load up the 2nd round talent. We'll get a future 3rd and a 4th. The Eagles are really trying to go all in. Look at the Colts, bro. This is insane. They'd give us their 1st, 2nd, and 3rd next year, a 5th this year, a 6th and 7th in 2027. I think this is probably the better trade right here. We move back pretty much all the way to the back of the 1st round, but we get their 2nd and a 4th. Man, that's really good. But the Packers one, it was the Commanders. We get their 29, so we move back 11 spots. We get their 2nd round. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to try to see if I can flip this. Take their 1st round, 2nd round pick. Maybe swap. Ooh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take their 1st, 2nd, and maybe like a 4th. Or maybe we take a future 3rd. I think that would be pretty clean because there isn't really anybody so far that's gotten taken that I'm really super pumped about. There isn't anybody on my board that I'm as intrigued with yet. So, we're going to keep kind of wheeling and dealing here. Like, you take this. So we take their 1st round, 2nd. Oh, they don't have any picks, bro. This is another team that's freaking insane. No wonder. So we take their 1st and 2nd round this year. And I'd say like their future 3rd round. I think that's fair to try to continue to move, man. Let's see if we can get this one. Ooh, so it's the 4th. That wouldn't be bad. We take their future 4th. I think that's a fair freaking deal right there. I think they were trying to give us like other picks. I think this is a real deal right there. So we move back again. We continue to move back. We continue to collect picks for these Dolphins. They grab a right tackle in Sam O'Donnell. So we move again. We'll see where we go. We get a pick here in pick 29. So let's see if there's a player there that fits within what we want. All right. Do we got a guy that's out there? There's a linebacker and Roderick Lewis at the top of our board. Top of our board, we got a free safety there. We can grab Daniel McLeod right here. We can grab wide receiver Greg Allman, right? These are all possibilities here that we can't be too upset about. We can grab the defensive tackles and Justice Keys, Greg Allman. Like, this is the one right here. Do we grab Greg Allman now, or do we hope he makes it to us in the second round and we just go after the best player that's on our board, which is Daniel McLeod? He's a guy that we scouted, and 6'3", 294. You know, we do need help in the right end spot, right? Like, if you look at the needs on the top, it actually says, no, we need defensive tackle, we need strong safeties, like we need a right guard, like, so we need O-line. But all the O-line have been taken there. So you have to consider, like, what's the most important move here for us? We moved back too far back. So I'm wondering, do we trade fully out of the first round and try to get an early second round pick and hope that they make it to us? Like, we're almost there in the second round anyways. Why not, dude? Keep moving back. Keep moving back. So the Browns are saying, we'll give you a second round pick. So move back 5 spots. We'll get their second round pick. The Titans says, hey man, we'll give you our second and a 6th. I don't think that's the move there. I think what I'd like to do, my goodness, look at this, dude. The Seahawks are just bankrupting their future. That is horrendous right there. I think if I were to do this with the team, it would probably be with the, what's a team that's going to be horrendous? I think it's going to be the Browns. They seem to just be trash. So I'm going to try to see if I can get their second this year and maybe like a 4th this year to move back out of the first. So we're going to trade again. This is like Belichick style, man. I remember Belichick doing that a lot, just like collecting picks. So if we were to take their first round pick or second round pick here, they got 2 3s. So maybe we take another 3rd and then a 6. And then maybe we swap 7s or something like that. That could work out. So let's do that because we got an extra 7. So we move out there and we give them an extra 7. Let's see if that works out. Ooh, we got it. So we got their second and third round pick this year, a 6th round this year. And we gave them a 1st round and a 7th round pick. So I think that helps us out there. Again, we didn't get a 1st round pick. That happens. But it's okay. You allow us to just kind of build up the group. They go Roderick Lewis. That was the guy that was on our board. We move on from him, and we're okay. So we get a. So here's the thing. Look at the Dolphins. We got 3 second-round picks now. This is what I'm talking about. Joey Alford gets taken. We're in the second round. Guess who's there? McLeod is still there. Allman got taken. It is what it is on that one. You got to be okay with that. But we still got the guy that could work out for us. You're talking about Daniel McLeod. He's a 1st round talent still, 1st, 2nd round. So he's right in that midway there. That still gives us room to look at some of these other positions, which looks like checked out this right guard in Kendrick Broyles. So when you see that, you go after these guys. Daniel McLeod is going to be our first pick in this series here. He's 6'3", 294 out of Oregon. There was a player on the Giants that played for Oregon that we hope gets that potential in Kayvon Thibodeau. B block shed, B power move. This guy he's kind of middle of the road, but I think he can do some good things for us. I'm hoping for the best. Welcome to the team, Daniel McLeod. 26 in true value. We drafted him at 34. Sheds block with ease, sets state record for bench press in high school, able to quickly diagnose plays. So good speed and acceleration, good strength. Norm dev, unfortunately, but I think this guy could really be a good piece and a good rotation piece there on that D line, helping out Jerron Reed and Zach Sealer kind of stay healthy there. So we head to the next pick here. We're going to go ahead and advance it. I don't see myself moving around. We've accumulated enough picks to where we can make some really, really nice choices here. So let's see who else is available out there for our board. I would assume we still got some pieces out there, and we do. I don't think this is a tough decision. You snag somebody to help us out in the right guard spot, which we got Jackson there. We picked up a depth piece, but you snag up someone like Kendrick Broyle here. Good speed on him. He's more of an agile type guard there. And I think he's only going to do the best for us. We need a right guard. I'm happy we snagged him up. And there you go. 35 in true value. Drafted him at number 50. He's got all things screaming amazing. High ceiling as a run blocker. Fits best as a zone run offense. Frustrates speed rushes with his quickness. Normal dev, unfortunately. But this is a guy that hopefully we can plug and play him in when it's ready to roll. And we're able to get some of those guys off our board there. So the second round pick for us works out. Let's get to the third one here. Who is still available for us? And it looks like there's still a lot of players on our board within this range here that we got to be happy about. So you got Michael Monroe is the best player on our board here. You got Chatavius Truman, 5'8", 185 out of San Diego State. Oh, that's a little... That pulls at the heartstrings there. It's my alma mater. 4.39 speed. Pretty freaking agile. This could be the future here if we need him as far as the Tyreek Hill type of replacement. He's got F catching, though. That's a little disconcerting. But look at this. Shows good discipline. Excels creating yards after catch. No issues climbing the ladder. Fights every single yard. Exceptional body control. I think you take a guy like Chatavius Truman, you take the speed that he has, and you don't look back. I think I'm cool with that. We're going to snag him up here. And that is 113 in true value. We drafted him at 61. Makes 50-50 balls look like 80-20 balls. Faster on tape, drops easy catches. We got to watch that, but the speed is there. It's something we can kind of mold and kind of keeps this offense sticking to the formula that they have down here. So we move into the third round. We got 2 third-round picks. This is where I'd probably like to look at defensive tackles if they are on my board there. We'll see what's out there right now, but we got to think about that. So you got another wide receiver out there. We could take a corner in Brendan McKnight. We could go after a tight end here. We could go after a left guard, which wouldn't be bad. You got this linebacker here in Tommy Devine, 6'3", 248, B zone coverage. He's more of an athlete than he is a solid linebacker, so maybe that's not a guy you snag up right off the get. Maybe we take another guard. I'd really interested in this corner here, Brendan McKnight, 6'2", 192. B man coverage, C press. He fits our scheme. He ran a 4.37. This is another speedster there. Elite acceleration. It's kind of screaming. We got to be careful of this, but we do need corners, in my opinion. It says we technically need strong safeties, but I don't know. I don't think we need that right there. I think we want to roll with this piece right here. I think you grab Brendan McKnight now. 106 in true value. Drafted him at 82. Average recognition leads to inconsistent play. Not a burner, but decent speed. Allows receivers too much separation. So he'll play maybe in the slot. We'll kind of let him go there. But this isn't a bad floor for him. We still need a right guard, but I drafted that. So I'm not as worried here. They should start... the game should remove things. Once you draft them, they should remove like those pieces there. We're up next here. Pick number 30 in the 3rd round. Let's see what we got here. Another, you know, it looks like the wide receivers are kind of taking it up at the top. I don't really need a wide receiver here. I'd like to look at, you know, these guys are pretty nasty. Devine, you know, late 3rd rounds, not a bad move for there. I don't think that's bad at all. When you look at Devine, 4.65, he had pretty good strength, decent vertical. His acceleration is not going to be that great. His shuttle is actually really not that bad. And we do need, you know, I want linebacker depth for sure. So let's snag him up. 23 years old, little older, but the zone coverage is intriguing. Out of Georgia. 169 in true value. Drafted him at 94. Won't scare linemen with his power move. Shows good instincts. Average speed for a linebacker. I think this is a guy that might surprise some people, but it's not technically in need, but I want to make sure we're okay because Bradley Chubb isn't going to be the future here. We'll continue to keep it moving. We head to the 4th round, and we got a pick here, 109. So we continue to keep snagging up talent where we can. You got this left end here in Jermaine Clancy, 6'4", 274, B power move. This guy is the guy I'd like to have. Look at that. Combine screaming. Why is this guy not drafted? Oregon State, B power move. Nothing says that he's got problems. I think you take him. Let's see what they're going to tell us here. Oh, wow. Why are they showing the additional animation? Maybe we picked up someone amazing. There goes Klein, looking happy about it. He's saying, I think we got something good here. Interesting. 171 in true value. We drafted him at 109. Struggles to break free when engaged. Getting stronger is a must. Good arsenal of power moves. I mean, he looked like a pretty good athlete, but we did not find a gem at this time. But we keep it moving here. There's the Eagles. They got multiple 4th round picks, it looks like. And we are now in the 5th. So we really built out this draft to have multiple options for us, and I'm glad we did. I don't think we really need to do much more. Let's see what we got here. We still got Morris Clark. And this is where I was starting to look at running backs. There's actually some pretty good defensive tackles here. Junior Hayes, 303. He's the strongest freaking DT out there. I don't know if he's needed right there. Usually what you can do to kind of gauge, like, will these guys fall to our laps, is look how far they are on the official board there. Strong safety is kind of a need, but with Marquise Blair there, Bolden, and Richie Grant, I don't really think we have to grab a strong safety this early. I think you could probably wait for one of our picks there. So yeah, if you look at this, you got Harris here. There really isn't anybody threatened yet from where we're at, but I don't know how far we are from the 6th round pick. So, you know, I want to see, like, do we have anybody up top that we got to snag up now? You look at somebody like Junior Hayes. I think you got to do it. You snag him up now, you get him, and you got to be happy with it. 235. Oh my gosh. Rarely overpowered by strength, struggles to break free, ineffective speed rusher. But when I see somebody like this, you just need him to plug the freaking holes. So hopefully he's a decent one, but at 235, he's probably one of the worst DTs to get picked up. And that happens from time to time. You know, you really don't get an opportunity when you inherit a team. Your first draft is usually going to be pretty bad because you don't have the information when you start in this thing. Like, you can't do your homework and hold off on draft information when you move to another organization. Like, that's not how life works. So that one's tough there. I saw Angelo Stanton, another corner here. It looks like he fits us. It doesn't scream amazing, but look at this again. Another freak athlete. Says he fits us, but is this a guy you snag now? I mean, maybe we can wait for Angelo. Let's check out the free safety in Redmond. Pretty crazy that. I mean, did my running backs fall off the board? Got Valentine there still. Do we look at Valentine now? So I like this guy because he's 5'11", 226 out of Florida, but this was the crazy part. Look at this guy. He was top in speed and top in strength. I mean, you have someone like this on the team, combined with Devon Achane and Jalen Wright, and you put Nwangu mainly be special teams, I think you go for this guy. Deron Valentine, 138 in true value. We drafted him 148. Will drop pads and plow through arm tackles, rarely fumbles, shows great contact balance to break tackles. And there's our hidden dev, bro. That's what I'm talking about. 5'11", 226. You grab a guy here that can really work out for us. I think this is awesome. We're gonna leverage this guy to be our power back in the beginning, and then we're just gonna see where he goes. Him and Achane could be the future for the Miami Dolphins. I love this, dude. We keep it rolling here. We head to the 6th round, and we don't have a pick until the late part of the 6th. So now we got to think about, is there anything actually out there for us? Right? Do we have anyone available still? And it's like some of these guys are falling so far off the board here. It's kind of insane. But with the 6th round pick, how many other picks do I got? I think I got 1 7th. I think I got 1 7th round pick. So this is where I kind of want to take a chance on those 2 tackles that I talked about that were on my board. They're both out of Auburn. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it, right? So you got DeAndre Irving, and then it is Jeremy Barnett. I really like these guys. I'm wondering if I can only take one and maybe hope that Jeremy Barnett is available in the UDFA and then bring him in. Linebacker depth is always a concern for me. He's got B awareness, so that's always good to have. Zone coverage again. We've got good. Oh man, this guy's a freak athlete too. I think we take Dwayne Harris here in the 6th round. 360. Oh no. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm trying. Dude, what? It said he was good. Oh my gosh. It said everything was good, and then he's going to crap the bed. Oh. All right. Well, 380. He's like the worst linebacker out there. This is our last pick of the draft, and I think you got to be okay with that. You take a player here that you want to develop, and I don't think you can go wrong with DeAndre Irving, 6'8", 321 out of Auburn. He's gonna need a lot of work, but he's a 7th round pick. Man, he's a 7th round. Dude, what is his deal? Yeah, so if you look at the favorites, that's where he's at, but who's still out there? I mean, you got some wide receivers out here. We can grab another defensive tackle if need be. And look at this guy. He's 21 years old. He's not even on my board. Alfonso Walton. He's another one that's a freak athlete. Dude, what the hell? Look at this guy. I mean, you take this guy. Alfonso Walton. You don't worry about it. Oh my gosh. Hidden Deb, bro. Yes, Alfonso Walton. Like, dude, he had all things that scream like this guy's got some type of crazy ability. But with Hidden Dev, we'll just leverage him, man. We'll put him out there. We'll get him going. Have him play special teams or some other sub packages. Oh, that's so funny. Well, I'm gonna wait until the UDFA pops up, and then we'll see if we can try to snag him up there. Well, let's check out the draft recap. Where do we stand? Who did we take? And I thought we did okay. Last two picks, not so much, but 74 overall in Daniel McLeod. I think that's not bad. 72 power move. That's a good starting point. He's got some injury concerns, it looks like, so maybe that's why he fell. But I'm okay with that. He's not going to play at all. I'm hoping Kendrick Broyles ends up playing really well for us. He's got good stats from the beginning, so when I see something, oh man, another injury issue. Well, we gotta hope these guys develop into something here. We snagged up a 70 overall wide receiver in Jatavius Truman, 5'8", 185. He's got all the speed to be incredible. Another guy he's got kick return ability, so that's good to know. But his toughness is actually he's not bad. He's actually not bad. You could leverage him for just like some sub packages and maybe some RPO stuff. We got a corner. That's a 70 overall. That's not bad there. Again, this is a guy you can kind of grow and hope that he can make an effort playing an outside line corner at that time. We snagged up Tommy Devine, who it looks like isn't the most incredible player, but I thought he screamed like he looked like a good athlete. And at these rounds, like that's what you're trying to find, guys that are just like good freak athletes. And Junior Hayes, to me, with that strength, I think he's going to be able to hold it down in the interior there and kind of help us with that rotation in the middle, where we can. This is the guy I'm really pumped about, Deron Valentine, 68 overall, 5'11", freaking 226. He's gonna be the dude who's gonna be our power back, and I think he can really develop. We can get his speed up and acceleration. That's gonna be a good situation there. So we're gonna leverage him a little bit more in the preseason to get him going. And then our last pick here was Alfonso Walton, who was a hidden dev. He's got 63 overall. I mean, good speed in the beginning, decent tackle. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this guy probably play quite a bit in the preseason to get him going there. So not the most incredible draft for the Dolphins, but that happens initially there. There's no reason to kind of freak out about it. I mean, the Jets did really good. They picked up Reggie Cousins, James Green in the second round here with hidden dev. James Green looks like a freak. That's a guy maybe we should have grabbed, but it is what it is. Oh, they snagged up a defensive tackle here. 6'3", 340. Oh my gosh, is that right? 346. Golly, bro. In the third round, we could have taken him. It is what it is there. So they actually had a really good, and then he snagged up, John Solano, 70 overall, 92 speed, 97 acceleration. I think this guy fell all the way. He was a projected second, third rounder. Snag him up. He can't be upset about that. Patriots, they get the best player in the freaking draft probably. Sidney Callaway, 81 overall. So they got a dog to protect Drake May. That's actually really nice for them. And in the second round, they snagged up Ty Cook, 6'2", 314. There was a lot of good defensive tackles in this draft. We may not have gotten the greatest one. Snagged up a tight end in Eric Harris. That's pretty good there at Alabama. 90 acceleration. Golly, dude. They are finding some dogs there. And then who is the last team? The Buffalo Bills. Oh, wow. 30th pick, Justice Keys. Oh, my gosh. We swung and missed a lot, but you got to fill the positions here and hopefully you get some youth out there with a chance to ball out and work out. Hidden dev, Lenny Scott. Man, the Bills keep being Bills. The talent they're finding is pretty insane. Golly. So, I think we got some good players there. What I want to do next is who was the best player? I think it's that guard. Yep, and then it falls right after that. Look at this, Tavares Pratt, bro. That's who I wanted. But he's a 78 overall. But he had no hidden dev. But that would have been a big pickup for us. But I don't know what that would do, right? Would we trade Kendall Fuller or something? I'm not quite sure there. But still pretty good group, man. It's a pretty good draft. Hopefully we you know, we learn from this and we build from it. You never know what could potentially happen for these Miami Dolphins. Looks like Cameron Jordan says, I'm done. I saw what I saw. I'm out of here. So this is where we will leave it, folks, before we set up to get to week number 1. The O-line, I think, is not bad. They're not the most incredible. We're an 81 overall team, but our defense is an 83 now. I think we got some pieces here that I'm excited to see. I'm going to try to play a lot of the younger players in the preseason because I need to make sure certain guys like Hill and Waddle are going to be available to us, as well as Devon Achane. The defensive side, to me, you know, with Bradley Chubb back, you know, I'll be able to kind of flip this defense around to kind of see what we can do here. But I'd love to see some of the younger players getting more reps and just kind of playing it out. I don't see myself trying to do any trades here because I think Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey, right? Those are the players that want to leave the Dolphins. If I do make a trade, it'll probably be during the regular season, maybe at the trade deadline if we suck. But I want to build this team up. I think we got, you know, a decent group of guys here that might be able to, you know, make some waves and really show up and show out. I think next season, this upcoming draft, we have a first, second, third, 2 4s, 2 5s, a 6 and a 7. So this helps us out. More artillery to get this team right, and you know, and then make it roll here. I think having Jedrick Wills on this team though is really helpful for Tua Tagovailoa, because now you got a guard, a tackle that could really cover your blind side, and I think that's going to help us out. So having these two guys here, I think is going to really help out with Tua, and we'll kind of go from there. But this is going to be fun, man. I think we found some pretty interesting players at the end of that thing, but we did it right. So, you know, we'll kind of keep it rolling here in the next one. So week number 1 is where we will be. That's where the last episode was before the game freaked out. So it is what it is there. But we'll start back at week 1. We'll see what this team does, and hopefully we'll make it work. But that'll do it for us today, everybody. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and most importantly, subscribe to keep up this series. I appreciate everyone that stopped by today. And for now, fins up.